right, so I'd like to open the meeting Wednesday, Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, regular meeting of the Park Board of Commissioners. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Start with a roll.
Victor Farias.
Amber Burns.
BJ
Ellen Rigo.
McDonald. BJ McDonald.
Ellen Rigo.
Do we have any citizens input? Doesn't look like anybody signed up.
Nobody signed up.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from the April 3rd regular Park Board meeting?
I make a motion to accept minutes from April.
Motion was made by Commissioner Farias, seconded by Commissioner Rigo. All in favor?
Aye.
New business?
I make a motion to take letter Q out of, or item Q out of order.
I'll second that motion.
Motion was made by Commissioner Burns to take item Q out of order, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Oliveira, you have an update for us on the North Park project. I think there's renderings here.
I do. We have the 11 by 17 drawings here. And this drawing is, if you take a quick peek at it, just gives you some of the contour lines, gives you the location where the overlook's going to be adjacent to the ball field. It looks, the drop-offs, you have 3 drop-offs there. And then what I did is I blew this up in a 8.5 by 11 so that you can literally see that the benches are where they're currently at, is still going to be there. In between the second and the third bench, there's a little gray shaded area that is bad asphalt. That's all going to be repaired, so it'll be smooth to walk on. This overlook, it's going to be out of blocks, so it's going to be embedded into the terrain at that point, and then raised to even up with that asphalt. And then there'll be some hand railing, and I just walked through with some of the contractors, and great way to design this for the cost. If you look, there's an extra page here that shows you a ballpark cost from the architect and engineer. If you look at the drop-off areas, there's 3 there. If for some reason we need funds that were not part of the earmark, we could probably just go with 2 of those drop-offs. So the third one will be an alternate. But the masonry walls, you have a cost of about $70K. Additional pavement associated with that, $6K. All in all, we're talking about close to $135K. And then you have the designer's cost. But if you just take a quick look at that, right in front of this blown up area, you've got some vegetation there that will shade that area for someone that wanted to see that. It's like 2, one's in the center and one's towards the right. But really, as I really dug deep in this and I walked with the contractors and architect, this right here, for the cost that we had as an earmark, is probably the best thing that we could do, because this is fully ADA compliant. So someone could be there with an ADA chair, someone just could bring another chair and see the actual game. And it's a great view, and you get a pretty detailed view of the whole park.
I guess my only question on it was I just want to make sure before the board takes any action on it, we just have something from Representative Fiola's office that they saw these renderings and they're okay with it. So I don't want to speak for the whole board, but she was the one who kind of got this money from the state. So I just want to be sure she's in the loop, her team is in the loop. I'm not here to hold any project up. So as long as she's good with it, I'm good with it.
So Chairman, this project has been on the shelf for a few years now.
Right.
We're coming to the closing of the earmark. So what I'll do is, if the board can just approve that and contingent with her, get an email from her. I've showed her some the first couple phases, and the last phase, we just touched on that briefly, but she liked all 3 phases. But we talked about getting a project that we could fund fully.
Sure.
So if that is contingent, I can get an email really
That's,
quick.
that's all I have
yeah.
on it, I don't know.
Absolutely, and I have been in communication with her on this. So on Monday, I'm gonna be processing the documents. If the board doesn't want to push that through, then I won't send those documents. But Monday, they're looking for these documents. We're gonna get a price by then, because we have multiple subcontractors that are gonna put into this project. I have the Miss Metals, which is gonna be for the railings. I have the concrete and asphalt, and then then the actual design work that was completed.
Yeah, anything else? So I guess the motion that I think I'd like to see would be just, we approve it contingent on, you know, approval from Representative Viola's office.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
So the motion was made by Commissioner Burns to approve this overlook project as it is here, contingent on just getting an approval or a sign off from Representative Viola that she's okay with this project moving forward, and then go forward. So that motion was made by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Olivera, I know you need to leave, but is there any other items that you wanted us to take out of order before? Or that was kind of the big one. Okay,
That was really the bottom of the talks about everything.
thank you. So we'll go back to new business. Item A, a request from Neil Rain, South Coast Wind, to clean up at Kennedy Park and Broadway on May 15th from 10 a.m. to noon.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Second.
Motion was made to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, request from Bob Garvin from St. Anne's Shrine Preservation Society regarding the use of Kennedy Park on South Main Street on Sunday, June 2nd, for a walk for the shrine.
Making a motion to accept.
Motion to approve was made by Commissioner Rego,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
New business, item C, request from the mayor's office regarding the dates of summer in the park. Events that will be in various parks on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 8 p.m.
I'll make a
From
motion to accept that.
Motion to approve was made by Commissioner
Second.
Farias, seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item D, request from the Greater Fall River Recreation regarding summer lunch in the park program held at the various parks as they've done for the past however long.
Motion
Make a
to accept.
Oh. Second.
Motion to approve was made by Commissioner Rego, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Sorry.
carries. Request for, item E is a request from the mayor's office to postpone a fishing event that was previously approved in April at Bicentennial Park and Duval Street until September 12th. I believe that was with the police department.
Cops and bobbins, yeah. I make a motion to approve.
Second that?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, a request from the Espirito Santo School for a field day at Travassos Park on Alden Street on May 22nd and 23rd, with a rain date of May 29th and 30th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I make a
Motion to
motion to
accept.
approve.
Motion to approve made by Commissioner Rego,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Item G is a request from Victor Pereira for the Green Elementary School for permission to use Pulaski Park, Warren Street on June 6th, with a rain date of June 7th for their field day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor?
Aye.
Request from Michelle Hamilton for the Memorial Day Parade from
I have to
Kennedy
s-
Park.
Abstain from that one.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept or approve by Commissioner Rego. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Burns. Let it be known that Commissioner Farias abstained from that vote. She's involved with the parade. Motion still carries.
Didn't Ms. Hamilton leave?
Yeah, but it was submitted by her prior to this. There's also a list of those events.
Yeah.
We have an updated request, item I, from the Fall River Girls Softball League for the use of Ruggles Park on Seabury Street for the upcoming 2024 season. I guess before we do that, Nancy and I had talked about it. Nancy's guys been down there doing some work, trying to clean up the park. Drove by the fields that they've been using. They're using them. It's great. So I think those guys should be commended for what they've done at those other three parks and getting them up and running and having them be used. So I would fully support, letting them into Ruggles Park. But I talked to Nancy about it too, and I think there's probably some stuff that needs to be done over there in order to get that field playable. So Nancy's been working with them. Where do we stand? Is that?
Well, they have put a substantial amount of money into both fields. Right now, I think they're concentrating on the Dumont fields, but they are going to need the Ruggles Park field. So I have been working with them. There are some issues that we need to take care of, but they have put we've worked as a team. They've put a substantial amount of money, like thousands of dollars in ball field materials, not to mention some of, their own people working at those fields alongside of ours for hours, day,
Now, are they same partnership at Ruggles? Like they'll help us get it up to
Yes.
snuff?
Yes. I think they're really looking to open up their season at Dumont and then, take their efforts to Ruggles to expand them, because they feel like if there's rain dates or their makeup games or whatever, sometimes those other fields are pretty wet. So they're gonna need that extra field.
Yeah, I
We'll
think-
work with them, we'll see like anyone else, they'll provide us with a schedule, and we'll do like we do with everyone else. They've submitted rosters, they have over 120 girls, I believe.
I drive by there every day and it looks real good.
Yeah, so Nancy, I think you said one of the fields, the last one,
Yeah.
I think you said washes out a
Well,
little
it
more
floods a
than the
lot.
other
They've done a
two.
lot of work there, so maybe some of that grading will improve that flooding, but we are having a situation where we've gotten some calls, about the parking from the neighbors, but that's just gonna go with the territory. I mean,
That's always been an issue.
there's really not much we can do if that's going to be a viable league. That's something that, we're just gonna have to work with them and see, if it's just a matter of someone being in the neighborhood, there's nothing we can do about that,
Right. The cars are all parked legally
They're
and
parked
everything,
legally
so
and
it's,
not blocking anybody's driveways. There's really not much we can do about that. So, I have been in contact with the league. We're looking to maybe set up a couple of handicap spots there specifically that would either be temporary for when they have tournaments or permanently, and I've spoken with the traffic department about that. So we are going to meet out there next week, hopefully before their season opens, so we can at least address that and see what we can do about it. But, they're trying to be good neighbors and, hopefully everybody can coexist.
well, I think they deserve a ton of credit for what they've done over there and now using, there's a lot of other leagues that have fallen apart, so it's good to see one pop back up.
I just had one question. So in the request, their hours are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Is that going to be, I know we had said we don't want to give out blanket permits like that, just because then no one else can use the field.
We can, like I said, that's why I'm asking for a schedule of their games. They are going to have practices there as well. We normally don't give it from 7 a.m. It normally starts not before 8 a.m. And it's not going to be able to go till 9 p.m. simply because there's no lighting there. So it's going to be like a dusk kind of thing. I would think.
Does CD Rec use it for the lunch in the park too? They're not there anymore?
No, that's not, that park was only used for that league. So I'm going to assume that the weekends are going to be a lot busier than the weekdays. And I'm going to guess that Monday through Friday, other than tournaments, might be able to start at 3.
The Summer in the Park uses Ruggles.
Not Dumont. I was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, I
Ruggles.
was thinking Ruggles too.
No. I don't think they're gonna be, Summer in the Park lunches are only till 2:30.
Okay.
So, like I said, do I think they're gonna use from 7 to 9? No, but this is one of those that the board, if the board wants to give me the, you know, the,
So there's two different ones. There's lunch in the park and summer in the park. Lunch in the park is during the day, summer is at night.
yes.
That's the mayor's thing
Yeah,
here.
so that's what, but they both use Ruggles, so that's the only thing with
Yeah, well,
that.
if it's a Summer in the Park event, they probably would be able to work around that
Okay.
particular date and not schedule games. We can
Okay.
work with them like we do with any of the other locations. If there's an event there,
Mhm.
they may want to do some type of a little exhibition thing to get
Okay.
some kind of
Yeah.
attention. So I'm sure they'll be more than willing to either work around it or work with it.
Okay.
But if the board wants to give me the, the task of working with them and making sure that, if it's gonna be 3 PM, it's 3 PM.
Mhm.
I can definitely do that. I think that the weekends probably shouldn't start before 8, just so the
Mhm.
neighbors don't have,
Yep.
any
Yeah.
issue with that. But, I
Okay.
think, like anything else, this is gonna be a trial and error, what works, what doesn't.
Mhm.
And I think that the group is more than willing to work with us to accommodate both themselves, the girls, and the neighborhood, so.
Okay. I make a motion to approve and just have Nancy work with them to make sure there's no
I'll second that motion.
conflicting schedules
I'll
for
second.
the summer.
Motion was made by Commissioner Burns for the league to work with Nancy, get copies of the schedules and just kind of make it work. Seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item J is a correspondence from the Creative Arts Network regarding their website. I think this is just kind of an FYI for the board. It doesn't really seem like there's a request attached, so probably need to just place it on file.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made to place on file by Commissioner Rego, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item K is a request for a tree removal at 261 Ridge Street.
I mean, I don't have any questions. I approve if no one else has any other questions. I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. Sorry, Helen.
Okay.
All in
right.
favor?
Hey, don't bother me.
It's a race to the second.
Item L is a request from the Holy Ghost Feast Committee for the use of Kennedy Park. It's August 15th through the 27th, which includes the setup and the breakdown of the feast.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item M is a request from Mass in Motion, the outdoor storybook trail on the Quikasham Rail Trail.
I love this. I think it'll be great. Obviously, we have to worry about vandalism and who's responsible if something does happen to it, but I think this is awesome.
Nancy and I had the same conversation the other day. If they want to do it, it's great. I think it's agreed, but just if and when that does happen, I don't know if there's somebody we can call or if we can keep their info on file to just try to.
Yeah, the young
Rectify
lady's
it.
in the audience, but it's
Oh.
like, she would prefer not to speak if she doesn't have
Okay,
to.
yeah,
No.
So- Right? So it's basically, and I've had the conversation, this is through Mass in Motion, so there, it is an office in Government Center, so we would be able to communicate
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
with them. I'm assuming this would come through a grant. So if the grant opportunity does come to fruition, as long as the board has no issue with it, it's, as I had explained to the young lady when she called, it's just something that we can't control. Once it's out there, it would be something that we would have to, they would have to keep monitoring, making sure that if something was destroyed, either that page was replaced or whatever, but it would be an ongoing thing. I think it's a great idea too. I think it's field trips for kids, things like that would definitely be something that would utilize this, so. I don't have an issue with it as long as, you know, everybody's aware of the circumstances.
Okay. I
Perfect.
make a motion to approve.
Second that?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item N is a request from James Crossan for permission to use the Kennedy Park pickleball courts to have a tournament on July 6th and 7th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner, oh,
I should, sorry, I just had something. I just.
can you just state your name and
Oh, sorry.
just for the record so we have it on file? Yeah.
Yes, James Crossan, 1800 Highland Avenue.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so it came to my attention, the Fairhaven Pickleball Association is having a tournament at the same time that weekend. That's where a lot of the group is gonna go play.
Do you want to have it the next weekend?
Could I change it to July 13th, 14th? Is that okay?
As long as there's nobody else has it, which I would imagine nobody else has put in for it, we can just make an amendment to item N that instead of the 6th and 7th, it'll be the 13th and 14th.
Yep.
And can I do the rain date for the weekend after too? Is that okay?
Sure. So we're going to amend it to read, the motion to approve was made by Commissioner Burns for July 6th and 7th. We'll just amend it to say
13th
that
and
it'll be the
14th.
13th and 14th
the
with a
rain
rain date for the following weekend, which would be 21 and 22, I believe.
Okay, so
20 and
20
Or
and
20 and 21.
And then all fees and liability insurance, all that would apply. correct?
Anything that a standard permit would require, so Nancy will get you the info to get, the liability insurance and whatever you need for the weekend.
I have one more question for the board. I think, was it something? And I'm not even sure if it's in it. Did you say something about food trucks or am I?
Yes.
Yes, so, okay, so the food trucks is what?
Um,
Where are we gonna put them?
Yes.
Because with a tournament, we're probably gonna have a lot of parking, correct? And we don't want food trucks taking up parking because we don't want a complete chaos on Bay Street. So I think we're gonna have to figure out something with that, of where they can go, whether they're gonna be able to go on the side street, on the other side where Middle is on a dead end. They'll still be able to cross the street, get whatever
Yeah.
food they need, but it won't be anything where the food trucks are taking up the parking where the players would be, because we know that that
Right.
completely takes up the grass area, everything. So if you put 2 food trucks there, now you're losing 6 or 7.
Right.
Not to mention the people in that same lot area. So I would think if we're going to allow the food trucks, they need to go across the street, if that's something the board is, and, Jim is open to. But I think for safety's sake even, they gotta kind of be a little bit removed.
Yeah.
How do we mandate them to park us in a certain space, though?
The food trucks?
Yeah.
You're the boss.
I'm not going there the day of, making sure they're doing what they gotta do.
I think
Well,
that that's
up to him.
probably
As
up
the-
to,
as
you
the
know,
organizer of
you
the
organize the
he's gotta
event.
say, "Listen, this
Well, I
is
think
where
it's in
you
the
can
best
park."
interest of your players and the people attending too,
Right.
to make sure,
And to make this
figure
project
out
work.
Yeah.
a spot that the food trucks can go.
Because if it
Because the food trucks doesn't impact anything as far as, like the health department or anything here, right?
Well, I think they have to be
approved,
registered
yeah.
and approved through the health department, but not anything
to have
that we have
insurance.
to do. They need to do that ahead of time.
Yeah,
through
it's
the-
like a part of the overall event packet, like you have to put all of that on there. And then the department upstairs would have to approve whoever your food trucks are.
Yeah, yes. But I mean, as far as that goes, he wants to make this event work, because if it doesn't work, then this is the one and only
Yeah.
pickleball tournament.
Yeah.
So he of all people, I'm sure, want to make it work.
Bless you.
And as I said, to separate the two, it doesn't alleviate the fact that, it doesn't, incriminate on the fact that he can't have a food truck. It's just a matter of they're gonna be
Finding
little
a
bit
spot for it.
I was gonna say, I feel like that pull off where the bus goes, but I don't know if that's too far, because that
They won't even see it over there when
yeah,
they pull off. where the
because that
bus
one way,
goes.
there's houses that are there, so people actually park Or that
No,
dead end?
Below.
No, not in
Yeah, where
Next
that
to the
field is
field.
that they
Yeah,
don't
aren't
use.
there houses right there?
No,
No,
it's a
I
mill.
don't think so. Yeah,
Oh, why did I think there were
that,
houses?
and that mill I don't even think is,
It might be something
Well, there's
that's
a
there
church,
during the week.
there's the
Treatment
the
center or
church,
something.
Yeah, there is a church.
Center. But that's,
How many?
But they can put the food trucks with the windows facing in to the park.
Yeah.
So that the people are gathered in the park with the back of the food
Yeah.
truck in the street.
I
So
was
they,
probably gonna do like 2 or 3 food trucks, I'm not like talking about like cats.
Okay.
so I think you'd have plenty of,
Yeah.
you know.
Do
And
you
I
know
can
where
meet
they're
Jim.
talking about?
I
Where the
can
park
meet
is?
Jim
Softball
down
field
there
is.
and,
Oh, on the other side, yeah.
across
Yeah.
the street from.
yeah, across the
So
street.
that like side street?
Yeah, yeah.
if you want, I can meet you there and show you exactly where it is, so that this way we don't have any question. We can do that. We can figure out where they're gonna go. They can stay, you know, closer to the corner, but not at the corner, so that they're visible to the people that are participating, I think. I
Okay.
think if they go where the bus pullout is,
That's
it's
kind
gonna
of,
be way.
like- I was
They're
gonna
not
say
gonna
it's
see
kind
it.
of
It's
far
like
away,
on Bradford
yeah.
Avenue. I don't think they're gonna see that. I think
You're going
if they
up
wanna
that
go on the
hill,
bus,
like-
if he feels that they wanna go on the bus thing, it's the school bus, so it's not gonna be used in the weekend.
Right.
So if the board has no issue and he feels that they're better in that bus, I don't have an issue either place.
probably
The board
depends on
doesn't.
how many trucks you
Yeah.
have too, and whatever, so.
Well, I can
So-
always go there when
Yeah.
I'm doing anything,
Yeah.
probably the best place.
Yeah, as long as the board approves it, I'll go, you know, either spot.
I make a motion to approve for the date change, the rain date, and for Nancy to escort him to figure out where to park the food trucks.
And I'll second that one.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye. Anybody else? No?
Aye.
Aye. Ellen, you good?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Doing the jack.
Good luck.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Um,
No.
Item O is a request from Jack Hackett regarding the funding from the Kelly Park Lighting Project on Globe Street.
Yeah. So what's
Okay,
the update?
so the Kelly Park Lighting Project is scheduled to have the bids open tomorrow. So we will know where we stand, if we have enough money with the money that the CPC has provided for us. I know Mr. Hackett has been in contact with a few people about scoreboards and additional netting work to be done, but that can only be done after the lighting project is done. So depending on what these project costs come in at, there was some boring work done, there is some ledge there, so there may be additional costs in that respect. There was an addendum put out to the bid, so hopefully these people figure that into their bid. But as far as that goes, I have been in contact with Mr. Hackett, keeping him aware of what's going on. There is gonna be some, you know, things that are gonna have to be emptied from a shed that he utilizes once this project kicks into gear. But like I said, tomorrow, we will get those bids. They will come back before the board. I can actually send the bids, bid tabulations once I get them to the board. And if it's something that I know immediately is too high, I'll let you know.
Okay, two things, two questions. So I know he's asking if they could, is a part of this bid to get a new scoreboard?
I think he
has one,
think
right?
he
Yeah,
has
that's what I'm.
That's what I thought too.
Okay,
Not 100% sure.
okay, because he's saying he doesn't want it in the outfield, he wants him to put it behind the
But
backstop,
but
but,
the scoreboard has not been in the outfield. The scoreboard has been on the first base side for
Forever.
years. I don't know where this scoreboard in the outfield he's
Okay.
talking about,
okay.
There
to
isn't.
be honest with you. There's none.
No.
Now, whether he's telling me he wants to put it there, I don't think it's a good
But
idea.
yeah, it doesn't seem like he wants it to. He's got big bold letters. It'll get destroyed
Well,
if
he's
it's there.
saying he doesn't want it in the center field, he wants it behind the
So-
backstop.
So
But
it's
I-
not there now, so I don't really.
And it's only could be done if there's extra money.
And he has to go
from
back to the CPC.
Right.
Yeah,
And Victor, you're on the CPC. I
He
mean,
hasn't
I
done
don't
that.
think he cannot just say, we have extra money, but this is what we want to do.
No.
I think you have to go back to the CPC and say, this project came in under bid, and, you know, we had previous discussions about this being done or this being done. I personally don't think it's going to come in under bid,
Right.
but that stranger things have happened, you know, I don't know, but.
Does he know and he understands there's gonna be downtime with his league associated with when this project starts too? Because that's the other thing that he's, you know, I would understand, but this next question may be, is there another spot that these guys can go? So back to the Ruggles conversation or those other, like, I foresee that coming in a future meeting, that once, you know, these bids have come back and they're ready to start doing this work, and these guys can't play at Father Kelly Park, do we have another park that we could maybe relocate them for
Well,
the
there's
time
Chew
being?
Park, but again, there's no lights there at night. And
Right.
Chew Park is a stone dust field. I think Ruggles is too short for the men, to be honest with you.
it is.
I think the field is not long, deep enough
For the man.
for the men. So, I mean,
That's the only field, right? Well, there used to be Kennedy Park,
but that was a girls' field as well.
was it?
The only, yeah, like I said, the only other one is probably Cupola. That was a men's softball field. Now, can it be used for temporary purposes? Yes. Are you going to be able to play games at night? No. It's going to
Right.
be an inconvenience to get,
To get brand new
Yeah.
lights, right?
you know, a premier location. So, the kids at Maplewood didn't play for 2 months, and Maplewood made do. They either played away games or whatever, and I understand that this is, you know, maybe there are other fields that Mr. Hackett can have access to. That his players come from Tiverton, Somerset, Swansea, they come from everywhere. So if, maybe he's got to reach out to some of these surrounding communities for a couple of weeks or whatever. I mean, it's not anything that we haven't asked other organizations to do.
I don't think there's really any action for us to take
No,
on this either,
I
right?
don't
So
think
this
there
is-
is. I
we're
think it's
just-
a matter of, you know, we'll wait and see what the bids come in. We'll see what we can do financially. And if there is money available, we have no problem with him going back to the CPC and asking for that to be utilized at that location.
Okay. All right, oh, I have a second question.
Okay.
Has the name of that field been changed?
Yes, he changed it years ago.
Okay. Okay, that was it.
Motion
I
to,
make a motion to, accept and place on file.
Second it?
Motion was made by Commissioner Burns to accept and place on file, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next request is from the MSBL, which is a men's baseball league, regarding the use of a city baseball field. Nancy and I had a conversation about this. As much as I think the city would love to try to accommodate this request, I just don't think there's a city park that can handle all of the stuff that comes along with this league. We also had a conversation with Mr. Oliveira, who was part of the New Bedford Bay Sox in New Bedford, and them utilizing the New Bedford High facility. Because there's a gate there, you can charge a gate, you can keep everyone in place. It's, you know, parking the whole nine to have crowds of people watching a game. I don't think there's a city park that you could charge a gate to get in and out of, that would be conducive with this schedule. So my thoughts were, we should send this request to the school committee and see if there's a school facility. And that was part of the conversation Nancy and I had with Mr. Oliveira as well. He's done it in New Bedford. They did it on a school property, on a school field in New Bedford. Maybe there's a school facility in Fall River that could accommodate.
And this is next spring. These are dates for 2025. One, we can't charge in parks, absolutely not. It's an ordinance, we cannot charge an admission. And number two, for the amount of games and the amount of, this needs to be a turf
Yeah.
field. This needs to be something where
We don't
it's,
have the staff
you know,
to keep
very
up with it.
limited maintenance. It's a small business, basically. I mean, so I think that Commissioner McDonald is absolutely correct. The only one that can accommodate something like this would be the schools.
I make a motion to forward to the school committee, but also let her know that, like, obviously we can't accommodate, but hopefully the school committee will be
Yeah.
able to find something.
Motion made by Commissioner Burns to refer this item to the school committee.
Wait, the school committee or the school department, buildings and grounds?
Should
I
it-
would think the
the
buildings and grounds
grounds
and then they
first
would
and let
send
them
it to
go.
the school
Yeah.
committee. That's what I
Okay.
would suggest.
So it's Mr. Pacheco.
Yes, I could just send it to buildings and grounds. I don't know if he's only in charge of that, so I would send it to that
Okay.
department. Yeah,
Okay.
if I can find out.
All right, so I make a motion to forward to Buildings and Grounds, and then they can take it from there.
Whoever leases their fields or rents out their fields.
Second,
So the motion was made by Commissioner Burns to forward along to, and seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye, sorry.
Motion carries.
It's the ayes today. Nobody can remember.
Nobody's aye. The last item is a request from Chris Vining regarding the use of Lafayette Park baseball field on Eastern Ave.
What's going on?
I have not received any schedule yet. He
Okay.
asked about the dates. There was one date that I had a conflict with. There's an event there. I did send him that information. I have not received any specific request.
Okay.
But I did want to just let the board know that that was out there. Once I receive a specific request with dates and times.
Is this a men's league?
No.
No, it's like a twilight, like a 13 to 17 maybe.
I make a motion to approve pending you getting everything that you need.
Well, I wouldn't approve it. I would just say, place it on file until we receive the actual dates.
Okay. All right, I make a motion to place on file until you get
Or
all
table it,
all
either
the-
one. You can either table or place
You
on
table it,
file.
then it comes back on the next meeting if you have more info. I'm sure you're gonna hear from them,
I would think, I mean,
so
All right, I make a motion to table this
table.
second,
pending additional information.
this motion was made by Commissioner Burns to table item R until the next meeting, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Any commissioner inquiries? I guess I have one. Nancy has some sketches or diagrams, I don't know what you want to call it, of the trees that are going up in the parks. She's already identified a couple that could potentially be an issue as far as where they were going. There was a couple at Lafayette Park that were in front of where the cement bleachers are. So I think you had asked them to move them behind those cement
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
And there's a few more, I
So
think, that.
Chris Martin from the tree department has provided a planting plan for each park, which he gave me tonight. So I will scan these, send them to each board member. If you identify a tree that you think may be in a location, I'm gonna look at them as well. I mean, there are a lot of them around this pickleball court, and I know that these are not causing a problem at this point.
Those are already in.
I don't know, are they in yet? I don't think so, the bottom.
No, I don't think we've got one.
But there is that one tree on that pickleball court that has wreaked havoc, so do we really want to put another 20 trees around there so that,
Yeah.
you know, I know we might not be around to worry about the
Somebody
trees dropping leaves there,
they
but,
will, maybe not me.
He probably will.
May not be sitting here anymore at that point, though.
but anyway, I just don't want, I think maybe take a look, see what the board thinks, and if it's something that we gotta move, then we need to
Mr.
let
Martin,
them
what's
know.
the time frame on, like, I don't want to slow anything up or derail your plans already, so it's,
Right, we're trying, well, the trees that we have right now have to be completed by the end of June, I
Oh, so we have some time.
okay.
believe.
Well, there's a lot of trees on that thing.
And
Touche.
I'm not even positive if we have all the trees for that.
Like, when you say you physically have them, you haven't gotten them yet.
I have
No,
a,
we physically have another, this is just a roundabout figure, probably about another 80 that have to be planted.
Where are they?
Bullock
Bullock
Street.
Street.
Okay.
So here's a question. I know that we have like there's a roadway that comes down Kennedy that used to be used for the 4th of July celebration. It's now no longer a roadway, but it's probably underneath there. But we're having a big drainage issue where the new volleyball court is going in. Would trees higher up on that help to absorb some of that water from draining down? Because that may be the place to plant them rather than below where the pickleball courts are, and that's already at the end of the rainbow. If we catch the water halfway down, we have that vegetation.
It would absorb.
So maybe
some.
that's something that we should consider. It's a little bit higher on the hill. Again, here's the problem with that. That's where the kids slept.
Oh,
So a lot of these things are codependent
I'm gonna
on,
say, you don't want somebody going into
no,
a tree.
codependent on something else,
Yeah.
you know?
'Cause they're still gonna
So-
sled regardless if there's a tree there or not.
Exactly. So I think higher up on the, maybe behind the pavilion in that open area behind the pavilion with, off to the side, more toward middle, higher up would catch some of the water coming down. I don't know. You guys can look at this. I will send it out to you tomorrow.
Are
I
you
will-
starting like at one particular park?
Well, right now,
They
we're
did the
at
top.
Lafayette.
Okay.
But we have already planted some at Kennedy.
The top, around the skating pond was done.
Right, and a few we planted last year here and
Yeah, I think some at the parking lot might be done.
there. And that walkway goes
Yes.
down to the left side of the pavilion,
Yes,
the overlook there.
yes.
We did plant a few there, and there's a few more to go in that area, I believe.
Yeah, it's quite the map. So I will send it out. I'm going to take this as an exhibit to put into the meeting.
Okay.
And then I will send that out to you guys so we can at least take a look at it. Because it was, I know, like originally the planting plan came in with the 1,500 trees or whatever it was all at once for people, I think, right? The last time, like way before.
Yeah,
But it includes street tree plantings. It was just like a whole, this is what we're gonna do. But now this is becoming the drop. And it's quite the drop, so we'll have to, like I said, you guys can look at that. We can sort it out sooner rather than later, so Chris has a,
right, so Davy Resource Group, they went and kind of laid it out as what they thought, I guess.
Where they should go.
right,
Yeah.
where they could go. The only problem is Davies doesn't know if there's a
Right.
proposed project in a certain area. So if they see this nice big area that looks like it's good for planting, but it's proposed splash pad down
Right.
the road, that's what we had the conversation, then what are
Right.
we gonna do? Take all those new trees out again? So we're just trying to avoid that if we can. So, I will look over these as well.
See if any of them jump out at you. Nancy
Yes.
mentioned a couple, because there were some that were like, they were in front of where you would sit to watch the game. And then there were a few along the third baseline. There's no fence.
First base,
So-
yeah, and the third, they were
Well,
both.
both
first base
sides.
And
So
third base doesn't have.
The
an
fence only
extension.
goes to like the third base, third and first base. But these trees were extended like down the line. So the question was, are those in a good spot? If there's no fence there,
I was
let's
gonna
make sure they're far enough
Yeah.
off the field.
Yeah, because if you hit it during the game, it's,
You're just
Right, so-
running,
so-
and if you're just running as a, a kid, 13, 15, you're running, and
So,
if you don't look up in time, you're gonna,
Where the fence is, the ones that are planted to the right side, they're about 15 feet back. And more or less, I think that was like how they were going off of that imaginary
Yeah.
line, I
Yes.
guess, is what.
As if the fence was extended.
Right, so they were using that as the imaginary line.
Right.
Planting further out.
yeah, the
Like
one.
Those were just the few examples that Nancy and I
Yeah.
had talked about, were those, and then the ones around the pickleball.
Right.
Yeah.
So if anyone else
So
sees anything.
we'll just send it out, you guys can take a quick look at it, if it's something that jumps out at you.
Okay.
Let me know, let Chris know, whatever, we can go from there.
gonna be?
I did get a call today from Rodney regarding a CDA project, which is Columbus Park play equipment being replaced. So those plans and specs are going to be available tomorrow. So I said that I would like a set of those, so again, the board can see those as well. I would assume that they're gonna want this awarded at the June meeting. So, I told Rodney he would have time to put together that tabulation sheet once the bids were received. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. I think the play equipment is going right back in the same play location that it was removed from. And I think it's similar to the play equipment that was installed by CDA at the Maris Playground or Kathy Assad Playground, if that's something that you guys want to just see what it's comparable to. But he asked that I make you aware of that because it was something that kind of got away from them. We put out that procedure policy thing and it kind of snuck up on them. So he said, can you mention it and you will bring it to the board.
Okay.
So.
I guess my last question, now
Consider
that
it
you're
mentioned.
saying that, the last question I had is just, this is the May meeting, the splash pad with the broken pipe. What is the timeline on when that is gonna be?
Well, the broken pipe is in the irrigation system, so I'm not gonna even touch that.
Okay.
Leaving that, I'm leaving that. I have reached out to the company that does the splash pad, which comes down. He did not respond to me yet.
Okay.
But I want him to come sooner rather than later. I'm under the impression from the water department that we can turn on the splash pad without turning on the irrigation, which is where that water
Right.
system broke. So if I can do that, I'm staying completely away from that, and the irrigation system is just not gonna work at that Travassos Park field for now, but I don't want it to affect the
Right.
splash pad operation.
And the only reason why I ask is the sooner they can obviously test it and make sure that it didn't affect the splash
Right,
pad,
the only thing
the
was
better.
the backflow was left, and I was told that that's not a big deal, but that's something that they can determine. They'll come down. I did reach out to them again and say, can you give me a date? I'd rather have it sooner than later. I haven't heard back.
Okay.
So I will keep you, I can keep you informed, BJ, of that as well. And as you know, there's an issue with the fence, getting some fence repairs done at Dumont for the girls to open, because when they did a lot of that field work, they removed a piece of that fence.
Was that fence damaged? Did that?
Well, he said there was a lot of growth through the fence, and when they went to pull the fence back, it could not pull correctly. I personally think that there needs to be a set of double gates for the field, because in order to access the third field, you have to go through the second field to get to the third field through those double gates. So since we have this opening, I think the best thing to do would be to put double gates there in case we ever do have to have, equipment on that field. At this point, if we're gonna put the fencing back, put it back. I do have one price. I've reached out to 2 other vendors. If they don't get back to me, I think through procurement, I can just say they did not respond and go with the person that's gonna be able to do that.
Because
I'm
they're
not
under the gun
100%
a
sure
little
of that,
bit.
but I think that's how it works.
And they're under the gun, like they want to start the league and they want to have the fence in place with, I think it's like May 16th or 17th, they want to make sure that's in place. So there's some challenges with getting 3 quotes, going through that process, because today's already the 8th.
Right, and the quotes have to come because we've utilized this person, to a certain dollar amount. So after that, you have to do quotes. But I mean, we reach out to a lot of people and they don't respond. So if they don't respond, I'm pretty sure that counts as contacting
Trying.
vendors, because especially being under the time constraint. We'll see.
Okay.
The mayor's office is aware of it, Ms. Olivera is aware of it, everybody is aware of what we're trying to accomplish in very little time.
Okay.
Anything else? Very good.
Yeah.
Make a motion to.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Varias. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.